And obviously Connor Blakely down, one of your friends, very close friends. How's he going at the moment?
Yeah, he's obviously incredibly disappointed about what happened in the injury, but knowing Connor for as long as I have, he's an extremely resilient guy, and he understands what it is and how that's just part of the game, and he's dealt with injuries before, in particular in the last 2 seasons, and he's come back, and I've no doubt he'll come back fitter and stronger from this one.
What does it mean for the midfield, do you think? Lockie Neal's gone and Stephen Hill's got some injury concerns as well.
Yeah, I don't think it changes anything, to be honest. I think, as has been mentioned before, it's not just one guy who's going to roll through there. It's going to be a whole heap of guys, and especially the guys we got in Reece and Trav, they can certainly fill that void, and a lot of the young guys, it's been touched on, Andy and Adam, and their development again this pre-season. So I think we're spoiled for choice a bit in there, to be honest. I don't think it's obviously disappointing that Connor won't be going through there early on in the season, but yeah, I think there's a lot of other players who can go through that role.
So Andrew, Adam and Reece in particular, what sort of roles do you see them playing?
Yeah, I think, as you saw last year with Ches, he can pretty much play anywhere. So he can play forward, back, midfield, and I think he even played in the wing a bit last year. So that's really valuable for the team, is someone who can sort of move through those roles as easily as he can. So I think you'll be seeing a lot of the same from him again. And Reece, I think, will probably be going half back and through the middle, I imagine, at this stage.
Yeah, best season of your career on the wing last season. Do you imagine you'll keep the same role that you had last year?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing there. It's probably where I play my best footy. So yeah, I'd absolutely love to stay on the wing this year.
You had Brad Hill out for most of last year, and obviously that was a bit of a blow. Got Brett Bewley in the side this year. How have you seen his development this pre-season? But a lot of positive talk about the way he's come into the squad.
Yeah, no, it has been touched on a fair bit, and I can understand why. He's obviously a mature age player, so he's physically very developed, and having played a lot of senior footy back in Victoria, he understands the game, and he's pretty adept to the pace of the game as well, which is pretty impressive, and yeah, he's training very well.
How does your game go to another level, do you think, Ed? Because it went up probably 1.5 levels last year.
Yeah, I think sort of my consistency was probably the big issue, and that's what I'll certainly look to improve this year. It probably echoed other teams. Played a lot of good games at Optus Stadium, but then interstate, I was pretty average throughout the year, so that's certainly something I'll be looking to work on.
Have you bulked up at all, Ed?
No, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
Your brother had a great grand final.
Sorry, Ed, just get your answers a bit more this way rather than turning close to us.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Just pretend we're not here. Your brother had a great grand final and a big final series playing for Collingwood. Did that sort of spur you on to want to get in amongst that September action?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking to him, he certainly, the way he spoke about the finals and the atmosphere, especially being over in Melbourne, that's definitely added motivation for me. Listening to him speak about grand final day in particular was pretty moving, and I know he thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, that's certainly something that I personally want to aspire to, and I'm sure that's the same with the team.
There's a lot of talk at the end of last year about him potentially coming here. I think you guys were overseas at the same time when that sort of decision was going through. How was that situation for you guys?
Yeah, no, it was certainly a weird one. I think we were in maybe Tanzania at the time, and I did think for a second I might have been able to snag him over here, but unfortunately for him, he wanted to stay in Melbourne, and that I think was the right call for him. So yeah, it was an interesting circumstance, but I think he made the right decision there.
How much do you talk to him when you're in that situation? Because I mean, you're obviously on holiday, you're probably trying to get away from footy, but it's such a big decision for him. How much are you chatting about it when you're away?
Yeah, it was a hard one because it was just me and him, and obviously he had a fair bit of thinking to do in that time. But I tried to stay as unbiased as possible, considering my club was one of the clubs sort of involved. So I didn't want to try and persuade him too much either way. I thought it certainly was a decision he needed to make on his own, and he needs to be comfortable with. And yeah, I think he made the right decision.
How strong is the pull to play together. I mean, you see it with guys like Brad Hill and Stephen Hill. They wanted to play together. Is it something you guys have always wanted to play together?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. It's always going to be there, whether it's post AFL or what. I think we'll definitely play together at one stage. But yeah, the last game we played together would have been school footy, probably back in year 11. So it's one of those things that, in a perfect world, it'd be great to play with him. But yeah, I think the stars might have to align for that to happen.
Yeah, well, your contract, I think it's the end of this season. You spoke last year about wanting to, or being invested at this club and wanting to be here when the club sort of re-emerges as a force. Is that sort of still a strong thought for you, that you want to be here when the club does have success?
Yeah, no, that absolutely still holds strong with me. I think I came in 2015 when the club was sort of at that back end of that successful era, and yeah, having played through the last sort of 3 sort of relatively unsuccessful years in terms of wins and losses, that's certainly a huge motivation for me, is to stick it out of the club that drafted me, and having gone through these times, I'd love to be there playing finals footy.